Whew, what a finish there for the Jets. The Jets hold on to beat the Tennessee Titans in week 2, 24-17. They get the win. I'm joined by Frankie Vittorini from U Stadium. I'm Ryan Sampson. This is the Gangs All Here post-game live show. And let's start off, Frankie, with that final drive stop by the Jets defense. What did you make of the defense holding up there at the end to get the stop and seal the win?
You know what, man? And Ryan, great win. We needed this really bad. So I'm happy with that we came out alive with a win this week. So shout out to the Jets and us, baby. Let's go. But with that last drive, I'm going to say one thing, and this will always win when you're playing defense. It's tackling, not letting them get extra yards. You saw the defense the last couple drives. They were not allowing Pollard, any of those tight ends, get any extra yards out of the backfield. Will Levis made a few little plays late, but you saw the defense actually shutting down the yak. There were not many yards after contact, and that'll help you because that doesn't give them easy first downs. You saw them have to go into a third down situation late because we made a nice tackle on the sideline. So the team really played well and stout defensive football towards the last couple drives, specifically that last drive. And our boy Will McDonald got his third sack of the game. So shout outs to Will McDonald for getting his third sack of today. He just had it. And but there's other bad news on our edge front, which I'm sure we'll get into. But shout outs to Will.
Yeah, we'll get into that, Frankie. I think just to start off with the Jets, this was a game that we were frustrated with to watch for majority of this game just because there's so many opportunities it felt like left on the field. But at the end of the day, they get the W, which is the most important thing. You know, Frankie, before the game started, I was texting you saying, what do you think? Predictions. For me, I needed to see this team actually prove me wrong and that this team can actually win a close, gritty, gutsy game. And this shouldn't have been a close, gutty, gritty game, but it was, if that makes sense, just because the situation, you know, I think we took for granted heading into this season as Jets fans, just because it was the second year of Aaron Rodgers, but we forget that he missed all of last year. The chemistry was not going to be there immediately for this offense and for this team really just get going. That defensive stop at the end, though, that was important. That was vital. Will McDonald, to your point, 3 sacks in this game, a monster sack on third down there, and at the in the red zone for the Jets defense to get that stop. I thought that was a massive buildup for, I guess, or boost for this team, considering they lost 2 of their starters and C.J. Mosley and Jermaine Johnson for the majority of this game.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I think what we were saying before the game too is something that sort of played out throughout this game. When we were talking about how the San Francisco 49ers sort of put out a blueprint as to how to potentially beat this Jets team and to take advantage of our weaknesses, stopping the run, and some other areas like safety, which we can get into later, how Chuck Clark is just all over the place. That dude needs to get his stuff together. But you saw how San Francisco put out the blueprint, and Tennessee tried to follow that blueprint, sort of a slow and steady. And what Tennessee tried to do, I think, that San Fran didn't do was trying to hit those big plays. Yes. So, yes, we're going to keep things within, manageable play calling or conservative play calling, but then we're going to pop one out to Ridley, or we're going to do some interesting stuff on the outside. So I think they even took San Fran's game plan to, not saying a better level, but another level, a different level where they were actually trying to hit those big plays too. But listen, you have to gritty things out. You have to put your head down and make tackles like we did towards the end of the game. You have to let Aaron and these backs sort of get cooking, which we saw in the second half, how much different our offense sort of looked. It sort of looked like we sort of started finding ourselves a bit. You have to do some interesting stuff offensively too. Breece Hall lining up as a flanker, as a far out wide receiver against a linebacker, and we just hit that right over the top. So we have to give credit where credit's due, but there is a lot of issues right now when it comes to this team. I'm just keeping it as simple as putting fear in their opponent's eyes. I mean, you can't have Will Levis just have a game as if like he's playing any random defense in the NFL or a bad defense. I mean, you got to put that guy in hell today, and we really didn't, and that was concerning to me how sort of confident they were on both sides of the ball for the most part.
Yeah, for the start of the game, they came out running the ball just like you said. The San Francisco game plan, they were going to ground and pound you and try and get this ball. And they were moving the ball up and down the field at will. Even on that last drive, they drove all the way down the field. And to the Jets' credit, though, they did get the stop, which is what was important there in that situation. Let's start off, Frankie, before before we get into the defense again, I want to start off with the start of the game. The Jets come out, for them to honestly, at the beginning of the game, force a 3-and-out in the punt, and then they go in. The offense started slow again. And that was the bigger concern, I think, that me and you were talking about, is that, man, we are just becoming so predictable on offense because it's Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and nothing else. And the big thing, I think, for the offense is Rodgers. You could see it. When he gets pressure on him, Frankie, even if it's just and I understand it's a silly thing to say, but like, oh, any quarterback under pressure is not gonna be good. But no, like even just a hand in the face, or he's made a little bit uncomfortable to not be able to sit in that pocket. You saw they couldn't get any long developing plays going downfield to start the game, and that really hurt them to start.
Yeah, man, 100%. I think Rodgers is still a little nervous. I actually know he's nervous. I can just tell, because Aaron, when he's in the pocket and he's just waiting, he's not really always concerning himself with where the pressure's coming from and where specifically he may get hit. You saw that. I mean, we said it. That one play when he's up, he's like turning around to see if he's going to get hit from the back or from the side. And I understand it because of what he went through last year. But again, he will, hopefully, but he's just got to play at what we really know Aaron to be, which is not someone who throws for 170 yards in a football game. I mean, he had at a point, in the first half, I don't know, how many yards did he have? He had 50, 60 yards. I mean,
yeah,
we got to get more. We got to get more out of Aaron, man. And I think the more that this offense starts evolving and understanding, and you start using players like Braylon Allen, hopefully we can get Conklin more involved, less of Rucker, because we saw that play.
Man, Jeremy, if you keep running to that pile on that corner, and it's a corner route for you, man, you run through that corner, keep going. That ball's landing right in your lap for a touchdown. It was a beautifully thrown ball by Aaron Rodgers there on that drive. Missed opportunity after the Jets blocked the punt, and they could have scored a touchdown to really try and push this game into a comfortable position for them, and they couldn't capitalize there, unfortunately, for the offense. The intentional grounding on the second drive, not great. And then the first drive. And then just after that, Breece Hall run up the middle, negative 2 yards. And then you try and throw a swing pass to Malachi Corley. It was not a good start for this Jets offense. And then the Titans go down the field and they score a touchdown, and it's 7-0. And you're like, here we go, Frankie. Like, what the hell is going on with this Jets team and this Jets offense and the defense? The defense let them go right down the field. Dumb penalties, Chuck Clark missing tackles in the hole, and the guys just missing their keys. I mean, the first touchdown for the Titans, let's talk about that one there, right? So the Titans go on if I'm correct here, 9 plays, 68 yards, a 6.5-minute drive to score a touchdown to start the game, after their second drive of the game. That's what they did in the start of the Jets' defense.
It was not nice. It was not pretty, dude.
It wasn't, because you had a penalty on Tony Adams to start the drive, and then you had another penalty on Takk McKinley for defensive offside. It just over and over and over. The Jets just keep giving them opportunities on that first drive. And you were texting, we're like, can this team, what's going on with this defense? Is it the run defense? Is it discipline? What is going on? The penalties were a massive part of this game again. The Jets were penalized. Correct me if I'm wrong, Frankie. It looks like they're penalized 9 times again this game. They led the league.
Inexcusable.
They led the league in penalties last year as a team.
Yeah, you're not helping yourself. And listen, I don't know what it is with this team right now, but I'm getting this feel, and it is early in the season, but I am feeling this way specifically. I think the talent's there. I know the talent's there. You can see it on the field, but I don't think the schemes are there. And I don't think the discipline's there. So we're making way just off of talent. Like, we won today's game not because we had a better game plan, not because we were more disciplined, not even because we really wanted to win more than they did. We were just more talented than they are. We are more talented. The Jets are more talented than the Titans. Plain and simple. That was the difference today. But what this team needs to understand is talent only goes so far. It's cliche, but it is what it is. They need to figure out how are they going to scheme themselves where they're not depending on a 4th down sack with 30 seconds left in a game to win. They need to figure out how they can put these things away early. It's also a wear and tear thing. You don't want to be in every game play your butt off every quarter. These players need to get some rest too and not be in these pressurized moments consistently. This team right now doesn't look like we're far and away going to run away with really any game. And another point I want to bring up, and Nick was telling this to me from U Stadium. He goes, Frankie, do you feel like because we have Aaron Rodgers now that teams are going to come in and know that they need to put up points on the board, and they're not going to even try to play like a more conservative game plan because they know Aaron's on the other side? Unlike years past where we have Zach Wilson and Sam, where our offense, we're lucky to score over 20 points. Teams are not coming in now saying, oh, let's keep things close, and then they'll end up blowing it because their offense and their quarterback, the quarterback stinks. Now teams are coming in like, damn, we're going to come at them hard. Like, we're not going to stop until we score a bunch of points. And we're seeing it. I mean, Tennessee doesn't play like this usually. They really don't. I saw them in week 1. They were terrible. I mean, last year with Levis, they don't try to really, do too much necessarily. Today they did. You saw reverses to Calvin Ridley. You saw bombs. I mean, you saw things that they were trying to do. No one's afraid of us, Rye. Right now, there is no fear.
Right. You have to earn that. So I think that's something that I was saying to you is that this defense needs to prove me wrong because, and you were saying it as well, the run defense for the Jets against it's getting exposed. And I think in years past, as Jets fans, we watched the team. We knew this run defense is going to be an issue. Just because teams weren't exploiting it doesn't mean it's not there. And now they're trying to take advantage of that. For me, 7 penalties, 70 yards worth of penalties you gave up as a team. Ugly, undisciplined football. But at the end of the day, you got the win. That is what Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers will hang their hat on. They have to clean it up. It's been like this for years now, though, with the penalties, and it's been like this for years in being undisciplined. And the keys and not knowing that a reverse is going to Calvin Ridley. You got to be smarter than that and understand what the situation is and how they're going to try to attack you. Chuck Clark, the safety play. Let's get into that a little bit. It was a rough game for Chuck Clark. He had, I think, 2 penalties. I think he had a roughing the blindside receiver, right, on the pass to Tony Pollard on Quincy Williams one-on-one on the swing route. The Jets can't apparently cover a rub route, which is crazy to me. Again, this is the basics of a defense where the Jets try and play in this base 4 or 5 man defensive line. They're just going to try and rush you with 4 and 5, put everyone back. But apparently even in zone or man, we still can't cover those type of routes. Those are basic concepts that you're guarding against. Chuck Clark missed a tackle in the hole on that first touchdown drive by the Titans. It was not a pretty game for him.
He missed that interception, or at least he should have tipped that ball to Ridley. That touchdown that Sauce just didn't even see the ball coming in.
What was up with Sauce today too?
You know what, man? Sauce was a little bit out of it today. I mean, he didn't seem like he had it. I felt like he had no feel for the game today. Sauce, there were completions. Sauce didn't even think the ball was going there. I'm telling you, they were fearless today. I mean, usually Sauce doesn't see the type of targets that he saw today. They came at Sauce 4 or 5 times.
Yep. Let's not be around the bush. I see fans saying like, "Damn, it's only game 2. It's only the second game of the season." Granted, we are being negative and being picky about this team, but that's because
we're being fair.
We're being fair because you watch the game and it's like mind-boggling. The Jets were bailed out by Will Levis today. Make no mistake about it. Will Levis bailed the Jets out today. On that. Do not forget, it was 7-0. The Titans were driving all the way down the field. They were in the red zone, knocking on the goal to score another touchdown to go up 14-0 in this game when Will Levis makes a mind-boggling fumble. He gets pressured, and then he throws it backwards while he's falling down on the ground to Tony Pollard, who can't come up with the ball, and the Jets recover the fumble. That was a mind-boggling play where it should have been 14-0 Titans, and now we're really talking about what the F is going on with this Jets team at that point. So we're being fair here, Jets fans, and we're Jets fans too. We love this team. We hold them to a higher standard. It's been ugly, ugly football to start the season. That is no doubt about it.
Do you know what won us the game today?
Irv Charles, special teams.
That's one. But what I think really won us the game was that 2nd and 16 to Mike Williams. Remember that on that last drive?
Last
that
drive
was so important. And I'm telling everyone this team needs to figure out a second pass catching option at the receiver position or the tight end position.
or the running back position. Braylon Allen had a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown.
We need one of these receivers has to step it up. Lazard did not have a good game today, although he wasn't really targeted much. He didn't do much today. Mike Williams is still getting back into it. You can't get production, though. Lazard and Mike Williams combining for 30 yards on 3 catches. Like, you got to get more out of there. Corley had 1 catch for 4 yards early in the game on that 3rd and long. We need more production out of our wide receivers. I was saying it before the year, right? I remember you and I were talking. I wanted to address this is before Hassan. I wanted to address safety, and I wanted to address wide receiver 2 or 3. I still don't think we address those things. Now, there can be players that become those things. We can have Lazard becoming a legit wide receiver 2 or 3, or Mike Williams. Chuck Clark could play better. Hassan Reddick might be here this week. And getting into that, I know you wanted to talk about that.
We'll talk about that later. I don't want to talk about that right now.
But we're missing those things.
I know.
We have a hole. Now, shout outs to Will McDonald. I see Chandra Williams in the chat. Shout outs. Had 3 sacks. If he can continue to at least be persistent to the football, which I saw him today, he does not stop his motor. Chapeau, like good stuff. That's what you have to do in football. If you do that against quarterbacks like Will Levis, you'll find yourselves with 2 or 3 sacks. He had 3 today. You'll get to the quarterback if you continuously have your head down and your motor running. So I did like that from Will McDonald today. But as we'll get into later, this defense has a hole and at edge, and they just need to get better because I'm still not completely there with them.
No, I know. I hear you, Frankie. The pressure was definitely not there for the Jets defensive line getting after Will Levis. There was points where they were able to get home on him, but now with the loss of Jermaine Johnson, you're going to be pressure now with the Reddick. But again, we'll dive into that in a little bit. Let's stick now to, again, the first half we talked about. Like I said, Will Levis bailed you out in the first half. Then later on in the first half, the Jets do respond, right? You start the drive in the second quarter, 6:52 left in the game. The Jets go 12 plays, 73 yards to tie the game up after a touchdown pass from Aaron Rodgers to Braylon Allen. What did you make of that sequence? The fact that Breece Hall and Braylon Allen were both on the field during that play. I thought it was smart for the Jets to throw the swing pass to the right, fake the swing pass to the right to Breece Hall, and then they end up with a screen to Braylon Allen on the left side.
Loved it, man. All about that. I think it's creative. I think it's deceptive, and it's what you need to do as an offense. You need to make the defense think you're going one way, and then you're going the other way to one of your most talented players on offense, which we're starting to see now that this Braylon Allen kid is actually one of our most talented offensive players. The more you get him involved in space, the more points you're going to put on the board, period. Same thing with Breece Hall. The more you get Breece in space, you're going to score. Get Garrett in space, which he still hasn't found much space yet, you're going to score touchdowns. That is what this offense, and that drive was indicative of what this offense needs to do. You have to get your playmakers, because we have above average playmakers, if not quasi-elite, I'll say playmakers. Get them the ball in space, and you'll get touchdowns. It's that simple. The play calling today was better, but I want to see more.
I know.
I want to see more. Where is Tyler Conklin?
He had the 1 catch. I'm trying to remember where that was.
Where are tight ends, Rye? Where's Corley? I mean, I know Rodgers, again, it was starting to cut in, but it was like game 1. First half, he barely was out there. Yeah, he had 30 attempts, but let's see some more. Let's get these guys moving, and hopefully we will. It's only game 2. But
yeah, I think, for Rodgers, obviously finishing 18 of 30, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns. That second drive, the second touchdown drive for the Jets to start the second half. They get the ball. They go, again, it's 5 plays, 70 yards. They get bailed out on the 3rd and 15. Remember this. Rodgers tries to get the ball to Mike Williams, gets hit in the face by Jeffrey Simmons, which bails the Jets out.
Yep.
And they get the roughing the passer call. And then after that, they go a 30-yard toss to Breece Hall. Again, get Breece Hall in space. Get him in space. He can make guys miss. And then after that, I think they lost their linebacker on that 30-yard play too, because Kenneth Walker gets pulled out of the game after he tackles Breece Hall on that 30-yard run. And then 2nd and 6, you get Rodgers one-on-one with Breece Hall. I mean, you spotted it right away. You're like linebacker on Breece Hall. Take that all day.
All day, every day. And Rodgers is he's so intelligent, man. He's just a genius at the position. He's a wizard. When he saw that, he's going there 100 out of 100 times. He's not even hesitating. That's what makes him so good. And yeah.
Yeah, he knows his best weapon. Like, and let's be real. I think L'Jarius Sneed's one of the best corners in the NFL. He had
Underrated,
a good day against Garrett Wilson. Would love to see Garrett get more targets, but on third down, Garrett came up with a couple big catches. But in that play right there with Breece Hall touchdown, that was a beautiful throw. An absolutely gorgeous dime from Rodgers to Breece Hall. Breece, that's the X factor. That's how you get him the ball in the special moments. And that's where you got like, man, just got to see more of this. We want to see more of that, right?
You know what I like from the Jets offense today? And I love this. I like this a lot. No turnovers. No turnovers. If we turned the ball over today, we would have lost the game. And ESPN had us, I'm looking now, ESPN had us at a 76.6% chance to lose. They had the Titans winning at a point in the game. So the Jets actually overcame some odds to win today. But not turning the ball over, as you know, Rye, as we all know, fans know, everyone knows, if you don't turn the ball over, your chances of winning are a lot greater. And if this offense turned the ball over today, I don't think we come out of here with a W. We needed everything. We needed that block, punch.
Well, speaking of turnovers, I mean, that after that touchdown drive, right? You had two 3-and-outs. Then you go to the block punt. The Jets come up with a stop. And Earl Charles, who had a big tackle on another previous punt in the game where he, on the coverage, makes a massive tackle on this play, gets in, blocks the punt. The Jets can only capitalize with a field goal, though. Unfortunately, don't capital for the touchdown. Would have loved to have seen them actually get that touchdown there. And like I said, have a little more breathing room for them as they try to operate on this defensive side and be a little bit more aggressive instead of playing that base defense, man.
Yeah. I think so. And I think Thursday, I see Stephen Craig had a comment, and I can't agree more with that. And I think that goes for our defense too. I think towards the end of this game, you started seeing a rhythm from both the offense and the defense. You saw the defense flying all over the place. And maybe to your credit, Rye, maybe CJ Mosley being out there, he's out there a little bit too much, because you saw Jamian Sherwood led the team in tackles today.
Led the team in
flying
tackles.
Around. Yeah, flying around.
Quincy Williams looked unleashed today. Like, I don't know what he didn't play great against the 49ers. He was swallowed up a lot, but it felt like when Mosley went out, they said to Quincy, hey man, you're the leader of this defense now. You're going to go out there. You're going to call. I mean, I know the defense probably operated through Sherwood, but it seemed like every single time they were able to scheme up Quincy Williams on Pollard or anyone else out of the backfield, and he was making play after play after play in the second half. He came up with some massive tackles in that second half of the game.
Yeah, and he knew he needed to also. With CJ Mosley being out, he knew that he had to, quote unquote, get his pee hot, as they say. So he was flying all over the place in this one, man. And hey, listen, we got the W. All right, everyone, just it's football. You're gonna win some games, you're gonna lose some games, you're gonna look good against bad opponents, you're gonna look good against good opponents, you're gonna beat teams you're supposed to beat, teams you're not. It's the NFL. We're 1-1. We needed this win really bad, and we go on to Thursday night, and we'll see what happens. But I do think this team started hitting some sort of a stride. But I'm not sold yet with this operation.
No,
this operation still seems a little bit all over the place, trying to figure it out. And we kind of knew that, though, right? This is a new team. They're very new. You can tell they're a new team.
Yeah,
I mean, you watch
can.
them. It's like they put a roster together 2 weeks ago and they're trying to figure things out. They kind of did. I mean, without preseason, it kind of feels that way, doesn't it?
No, it does. And you have to hope that Rodgers can fix these things. Speaking of which, after that block punt, like I said, they had that chance. They kicked a field goal. If Ruckert hits that corner, man, keep running to the corner. I'm sure Rodgers is going to drill this into him all week, and I'm sure Hackett will as well, or at least I hope Hackett will. But I know Rodgers will. He's going to tell him, next time we get that, man, run to the freaking corner. I'm going to throw that ball perfectly into your lap. Go make a play. I'm not going to – if he has to throw it flat because he sees you beating – you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll flatten you out if he needs to. But Rodgers knows, I'm going to hit you in that corner. That's the way the play was designed on that one.
Yeah, don't even go close to that defender. You have a clear – somewhat of a clear path if you run a little bit more towards the sideline. Just move out of the defender's way. Don't attach yourself to the defender and trying to like make some weird catch that you're not going to make anyway if that ball's even on your hand. Like, no one's really making that catch besides 5 receivers in the NFL can do that. So make it easier for yourself. He still doesn't know how to run routes. He's still learning.
100%.
But right. You know who had a really good game today? Somebody that I love and I've always loved, and he's one of my favorite players, is Brandon Echols. Can we give Brandon Echols some flowers?
Man.
How about Brandon Echols?
That interception
was insane, man. That interception, he had a nice batted pass later on after the interception. He led the defensive backs in tackles. He was third on the team. Brandon Echols came up big. And I've always said this. I've liked this kid from day one here. Fans always gave him crap. Oh, Michael Carter's so much better. Oh. I don't know if Michael Carter's that much better. He's better. Is he that much better? I like Echols a lot. I think this team needs someone like that. Michael Carter and no one else on our team's making that interception, if we're being real. Brandon Echols has been really nice here.
Again,
good player.
Yeah, he's been a very nice player for them. And a day when DJ Rigo, is inactive before the game, we get the news with him dealing with an injury. Echols, credit to him, man. That was a sick play. I was like, whoa, I could not believe he came up with that. The other thing, Frankie, and before we get into that final touchdown drive for the Jets, I do want to touch on Will McDonald. And again, he spoke with Janae Coakley after the game on the field about his performance. I want to play this sound for us and take a listen to what Jermaine had to say about the team and how they came together for this win at the end on the defense, especially.
Talk about the emotions right now for this team in this win.
We just all had to come together for Jermaine. After he went down, we always got to play as a team and get the job done.
Let's talk about your game. You got your first career sack and then added another.
Plenty more of that.
And added another.
Another game, right? This is one game. We trying to get to the Super Bowl, go crazy.
What does this win mean for you guys after last week's performance?
We didn't do so well last week, but this week we came to play. That's all really I got to say about that. As a team, we only got one goal, and that's to get a chip. So, that's what we just trying to get everything out the way so we can get to our destination.
Hey, it wasn't pretty. If you guys struggled the first half, what adjustments did you make the second half?
Just play. Just got to be hungry. Go get the ball, give it back to our offense so I can go score.
Congratulations.
Appreciate you.
I agree. It's all about the chip, right? I mean, Will McDonald, he keeps things in perspective there a little bit, but they do it in a monster game. Like, I'm hoping this could be somewhat of a breakout game for him and he could develop into that pass rusher that you need, because this Jets defensive line, let's talk about it. Jermaine Johnson, what a blow for them. Looks like it's an Achilles injury. We'll wait for the official word. But that was what he was ruled out with, carted off the field. You saw, his teammates, Solomon Thomas hugging him, Aaron Whitecott, the coach, comes out. I mean, everyone was very emotional because Jermaine was poised for a monster year again. Had 7.5 sacks last year, sort of his coming out party. You were looking for him to be that go-to guy on the pass rush. Tough blow for the Jets defense today. Seeing that from Jermaine.
Yeah, man. I mean, it sucks, dude. That guy puts in a lot of work. He was someone that we all looked at as a leader on this defense. He is a leader on this defense. We looked at him as being a game changer coming into the season, and it sucks to end like that. Football is a brutal game, man. It's not kind. I mean, we saw what happened with Tua. We see what happens around the league every week. There's always some seems like a catastrophic injury every weekend of football. So I just hope that Jermaine keeps his head up high, and it does seem like it's an Achilles. We'll see more, but I think Aaron being there going through the same thing kind of keep those hopes up, and hopefully Will McDonald can continue to excel. Say what you want. 3 sacks is 3 sacks. I don't care. You're gonna have people on Twitter saying, "Oh, he stinks still. Those are lucky sacks." No. 3's not lucky. 1 is lucky, maybe 2. You don't get 3 sacks in an NFL game by luck. If you go, I guarantee if you look at the last 10 years, players who've had 3 sacks or more in a game, I bet you 90% of them are like pretty quality edge rushers. It's not something that just happens on a whim.
You take it. You take it when you get it, man.
You take it. Hey, man, this defensive line, though, better continue to get better. I mean, Javon Kinlaw had some nice plays today. But somebody I want to bring up, Rye, where's Quinnen Williams been? I mean,
quiet day,
my guy.
Quiet day.
Yeah, and I didn't see him in a lot in the second half. I kept looking up, and I saw Holmes, I saw Clemens, I saw Solomon Thomas. I barely saw Quinnen even in. I would love to see what the snap counts look like. I'm telling you, there was probably 4 or 5 times I looked up, and I'm like, Quinnen's not in the game. Why?
Oh, they do that rotation.
Yeah. Maybe they need to stop with the rotations. With rotating as much as they do. Maybe they need Quinnen in 90% of the snaps.
Especially with the injuries, they have to keep the rotation going because they got to keep they love having fresh guys rush the passer. That's just how Saleh and Ulbrich run this defense, unfortunately. And you're going to see Quinnen's going to be out in those third down rushes sometimes. I thought Kinlaw had a great game, had a really good game, though.
He did.
And unfortunately, Jermaine looked like he was getting after the rusher. That rough in the passer call was one of the worst
dude. The
I have
NFL
ever seen. He didn't land on Will Levis. He didn't hit him in the helmet. He hit him as he's throwing the ball, and he didn't wrap him up or anything. He hit him, and then that's it. Just put his hands up. It was a garbage call, and that should not have been called on Jermaine Johnson for roughing the passer. I thought that was ridiculous that they called that play.
What are these guys supposed to do? If he went any lower, all right, yes, you can maybe hit him in his chest, although you're running through the line and your momentum's bringing you up high. If he went super low, then we would have had a problem because he might have taken out his knee or hit an ankle or a foot or something. What's the guy supposed to do? The NFL these should be challengeable. I know they've been talking about this, but it's about time because those change the course of a game, man. That's a terrible call. We had a few bad calls on us today, actually, I thought.
No, I know, Frankie. I was screaming at the TV. I'm sure a lot of Jets fans were. Just an absolute garbage call because it was going to be a third down stop for them. And of course, they call that roughing the passer, and the Titans go down the field. Before we get into that Rodgers final drive again, let's stay with this Jermaine Johnson situation. Now that Saleh says it's an Achilles injury, they'll wait to confirm whether it's torn or not. Jermaine spoke after the game. He says God is giving him a test and maybe helping out others. It doesn't sound promising for him and for the rest of the season. So if you lose Jermaine for the rest of the season, which is what it looks like, this puts the big onus on the Jets have to get a deal done with Hassan Reddick. You have a guy under contract. Get it done. Work out the money. He's already been fined another $800,000 today. Adam Schefter reported today he's up to $8 million in fines. Pay him all that money back and then some. Get him on the field. This is your one chance with Aaron Rodgers and this team. You lost your best pass rusher. Now it's time to get your other one back on the field and primed and ready to make a run here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be super interesting to see how these negotiations go this week because now they're going to use this.
The Jets lost leverage today.
Yeah, this Jermaine situation as leverage for them on Hassan and Torrey's side. So I don't know, man. CAA though, they're going to come in hot. They're going to say, "Hey, Torrey's going to say, what are you going to do now? You need us now." But I don't think Joe Douglas is going to necessarily take that into consideration, although he has to.
He has to.
You think Douglas is stern, man. He is a stubborn man. I know stubborn people. I'm Calabres. I know a lot of stubborn people. That dude fits right in. Let me tell you, he is stubborn, man. He's not just going to come in and say, "Oh, Jermaine's probably out for the year or is out for the year. Oh, now let's just go give Hassan whatever he wants." I don't think Douglas is going to do that. They're going to try to do that. They're going to try to get 70 million plus. They're going to try to get guarantees and whatnot. I don't think Douglas is, right. I don't. Do you?
His job's on the line. Your job is on the line as GM of this franchise. You are trying to make the playoffs. If you don't make the playoffs this year, you're gone. That's it. No more. Like, you're not going to be able to run this team anymore. So what's the point? Get the deal done. You have a defense that is begging for more pass rush. Will McDonald had a breakout game today, but you were begging for more pass rush from the edge, and you need it with Hassan Reddick. Reddick and McDonald, that would be better for your defense, especially with Jermaine Johnson. That's a lot of snaps. That's a lot of pass rush. That's a lot of quality talent gone now from your defensive line, which is already lacking depth. You have to get the deal done. I'm sorry,
all right,
you do.
Gun to your head. Is Hassan Reddick on this roster within the next 2 weeks? I'm not going to see this. We're playing on Thursday, so it's a little too turnkey. Do you think he's on this roster in the next 2 weeks? I say no.
I think he'll be on the field. Not on the field. I think he'll be on the sideline, dressed in street gear, Thursday night against the Patriots. I think they get a deal done this next 2 days, and he won't play, obviously, since it's a Thursday night, but that'll give him a 10-day run-up for them to build up into that next game against the Broncos. That's why
I'm giving you free points on the U Stadium app to make that a take. And I'm going to disagree with you. Done? Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
And
listen, I think
Stephen Craig, does Woody want to spend the money? That's a great question, man.
I mean, listen, I was saying this before the year. Robert Saleh's I think, second lowest paid head coach in football. That's nice on your books. And that's one of the reasons why I think he may still be here. But Woody has spent money. So let's just call a spade a spade. He has spent a lot of money on this team. He's never really afraid to go get a big free agent signing. Remember Brett Favre, Rodgers. I mean, the guy, he'll spend money if he has to. I don't think he spends enough money on the coaching staff, though. We know how much Saleh gets paid. I think he needs to redo some of those coaches and those scouting circles. Like, he's got to start changing up those groups there, because I'm not completely sold on how this team is coached and some strategies and whatnot that we bring in on a week in and week out basis. They don't seem to be anything unique. I mean, we were saying it earlier. Duh, you have Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. What, are you just going to target the hell out of them the whole game? Then they finally, I think, started to open things up a bit, but I still think we have a problem with some of the coaching staff personnel.
You're talking about Hackett. You're talking about Nathaniel.
I'm talking about Hackett. I'm talking about the offensive line coaches. I'm talking about some of those dudes you see on the sideline. I don't think they know what the hell they're doing. Some of these guys over there, honestly. But I am talking mostly about Hackett. But I think it's positional stuff. I think scouting needs to be a little bit more refined. But
well, instead of getting to that, let's talk about this game though, Stug. I don't want to lose focus on what this Jets. I know you're going on the Jets front office.
I'm going.
The Reddick question will need to be answered in the coming days. I don't care what anyone says. You have to get it done. We're getting 2 weeks now of him not playing football. It's going to be 3 weeks. There's no chance he's playing that Patriots game on a short week. Get him in the building though this week, so that way he can play against the Broncos the following week in week 4 and have him for the rest of the season. You need the pass rush help. Everyone knows it. He knows it. His agent's going to use it against you. And Joe Douglas can be as stubborn as hell as he wants. He's gonna put his defense in a bad spot, and they're already in a bad spot because they're not as good as we all thought they were. If we're gonna be real, Frankie, this defense for the Jets is not top 10. It's not top 5. It's gonna be a top 15 defense most likely. It's a huge step back year in my opinion for them. Just they're not as good as you thought they were, and teams are gonna expose you against the run. So you better either adjust and be willing to play more aggressive, blitz the hell out of the quarterback to get some pass rush on them, and just be better against the run. Make tackles. Come downhill if you're a safety. Come downhill, Quincy Williams. Make those plays. That's what it's going to come down to for the Jets defense. And when they figure out, hopefully, this Hassan Reddick situation. Frankie, in this game, Aaron Rodgers had a signature drive here in the fourth quarter. The Jets get the ball back after they go 3 and out, after they force the Titans to go 3 and out and punt. They get the ball with 8:41 in the fourth quarter. Jets and Rodgers start their drive at the 26-yard line. And this drive came down to a couple of key plays. It started off with 3rd and 1. Rodgers sits back, finds Garrett Wilson in a little bit of a scramble, but not so much. But Garrett adjusts the route with the Rodgers floating a ball up to him one-on-one in coverage. I thought that was a massive moment for this offense to take a step forward, because that means like, okay, I trust Garrett Wilson to make this play right now.
Yeah, and I like that Garrett was finally running some sort of route that wasn't some slant across the middle or running something short underneath. That was a little bit more creative. You put him on the inside. That was like a sort of a post corner sort of scheme. I want to see more of that. We were talking about, I want to see those deep balls. I want to see Garrett in space. I want to see him one-on-one with a safety in the deep middle. I mean, put him in those positions. That'll take some time, but I'm sick of waiting for that stuff. I feel like I wanted to see Zach doing that stuff. I want to see Rodgers doing that. I want to see him doing that every game. So I wish today they would have given him a little bit more leash on some of that stuff. I want to see some bigger plays out of this offense. And I thought today there was some plays that sort of showed us what this offense is capable of with Breece. We said the touchdown of Braylon Allen was nice. They had some other good plays in the run game. I thought that toss to Breece was also a really, really well-designed play. I want to see more, because you're looking around the league now. Teams are going to want to put up points, and they're going to want to put up points against us specifically. So,
yeah, I mean, after that 3rd and 1, the Jets have a negative play. Breece Hall gets tackled for a 6-yard loss. Like, oh boy, that's not good. Another thing that we haven't addressed yet. The Jets take another timeout with 5:47 left in the fourth quarter. Their second timeout in the second half, leaving them one timeout. They called 2 timeouts in the first, third, and fourth quarter before there's even 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter. They lost 2 of their timeouts because they can't get the play call into Rodgers quick enough to get to the line of scrimmage. The lack of urgency there is alarming. I don't know why the play call takes forever for Hackett to get to Rodgers to call the play in the huddle and get the play up and get the guys up to the line of scrimmage.
Audible and want to get different looks and motion someone out. He's just taking too long.
You know how it is. We got to get going here. Let's go, boys. Like, have more urgency. This cannot be I know Rodgers wants to get in a rhythm and he wants to operate this offense in sort of a precision, right? Like, I'm going to pick you apart. I'm going to be decisive, and we know we're going to be the way we need to go with the ball. The problem is you as an offense have to have a sense of urgency. The play clock went down to 0 almost every single play.
Yeah, it was too much.
Get into a rhythm. Get up to the line of scrimmage. Call the play. What are you waiting for? What, am I crazy? Where is the urgency?
Down, I was thinking about your face. I was like, I wish I was a Rye watching this, because you'd be so pissed off that you just get the timeout. I mean, Saleh did do a good job. I think we got called for, was it 1 delay of game? It could have been like 4 or 5.
Could have been 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Rodgers,
yeah. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that.
It was the same thing last year, Frankie. They Hackett took forever to get the play call into the guys.
I know.
Be more decisive. It feels like, and this is exactly what I'm going through as a Yankees fan right now, what happened yesterday with Garrett Cole. You are overthinking the situation. Know your play calls. Know what you want to do in the situation. I understand Aaron Rodgers was going to adjust and probably audible most of your play calls. Call a play. Let him get up to the line of scrimmage and diagnose what he needs to. And if he calls the wrong audible, rip him a new one on the sideline, because you guys say, Aaron, I called this play. Why'd you check out of it? Tell me what's going on. That's how you have to be a good coach. Be more decisive. That's all I'm asking for. Hackett needs to be more decisive, call the play into the freaking huddle, and get the guys up to the line of scrimmage. We should not be burning timeouts. That is going to kill the Jets. Because imagine if the Titans score a touchdown, right? If Will Levis, and by the mind you, credit to your defense, you got to stop. But Will Levis scores a touchdown there. You need those timeouts at the end of the game. Imagine if the Jets were in that situation with 1 timeout.
You know what else I want to see this team do? I want to see them establish an actual running game. And I thought there were moments where it looked like we were doing something productive on the ground, but overall, I don't really think we established much of a running game today. And I'll tell you why. You look at Breece Hall at 62 yards, but he had a 30-yard carry. You look at Braylon Allen, he had 33 yards, but he had a 20-yard carry. So in actuality, I mean, yes, a long run is a long run. You always take that. But if you take those 2 long runs away, the 20-yarder from Braylon and the 30-yarder from Breece, they didn't really do much on the ground. I want to see this team. If teams are gonna try to slow the game down on us, we can slow the game down on you too. If you want to play us slow and steady. We're not playing your tempo. You're playing at our tempo. So I want to see these running backs in this running game. I want to see in this offensive line. I want to see them establish. Yes, Armand's right. They need to be more creative with the run game, especially within the tackles. You can do some zone schemes. You can have Rucker or Conklin coming across and doing a crack block on an end.
You have both running backs on the field at the same time.
But it's got to be more consistent.
I mean, put both running backs on the field at the same time. They were successful with those play calls.
You called that. I didn't even realize on that Braylon Allen touchdown, I wasn't even aware that Breece was on the field. I didn't even see that.
And the defense, they got suckered in because you faked the pass to Breece Hall, who's such a threat as a receiver. And mind you, Braylon Allen could catch the hell out of the ball too. And you throw him the screen pass and he takes it off for a touchdown. You can be creative with this team. While we're begging for another wide receiver, there are weapons. And the one receiver that you talked about earlier in this postgame show is Mike Williams. So on that drive, after you take a 6-yard loss, you call a timeout because you can't get a freaking play call in, and then you draw up, all right, Mike Williams one-on-one, I'm going to throw you a jump ball. It's time to have you make a play. And the guy came through. That he did what Mike Williams is supposed to do, and he went up and got the ball. An impressive catch there.
Yeah. Talent won today, Rye. Talent won. Scheme didn't win. The plan by the coaches didn't win. Us wanting to win more than them didn't win. Talent won today. Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Mike Williams, Garrett, Quincy, talent won today. That's it. There's nothing else you can say because they had a better game plan than we did today. They punched us in the mouth pretty early. We got fortunate that Will Levis gave us a few back, but talent won today. And you know what? I'll take it any damn day of the week, baby. I'll take talent. Give me talent. Sometimes talent does beat hard work. Sometimes. Once in a while. Today, talent beat hard work. It is, that quote's a little bit off. I'm just letting you know, talent wins sometimes.
Wins are hard enough to come by, and the Jets were somehow able to come away with a win today. I mean, the Will Levis, yes, he bailed us out, Armand. I agree. He had some dumb decisions today that helped bail the Jets out in multiple ways. Throwing the ball up for Eccles to make that incredible interception, the fumble that could have made it 14-0. They were driving down the field. But you also saw Will Levis can also make spectacular plays. I thought the Jets had him on multiple times on that final drive for a sack, and he was able to escape and make some plays happen. Again, we're talking about that final touchdown drive for the Jets, though. After they throw the ball up to Mike Williams, Rodgers again making plays with his guys. He throws another pass to Breece Hall for an 8-yard gain, and then they finish it off, to your point, Braylon Allen, 20-yard run off the right side, AVT, nice block there. Morgan Moses leading the way. I mean,
the offensive line looked good today, Rye.
Yeah, man. I mean,
not great, but they look good. When you don't notice the offensive line did a pretty good job.
They held up well in protection, I thought.
Rodgers
was pressured a little bit, but I mean, he was sacked twice.
And that was it.
Yeah, he was sacked twice. He was pressured a little bit, but you'll take that all day. The thing is again, I think this offensive line needs time to gel. You're going to see them get better and better every single week as long as the guys stay relatively healthy. They have two veteran left and right tackles in Moses and Tyron Smith, and they hold up well and in pass protection, and they're going to help these younger guys out like AVT and John Simpson and Joe Tippmann. The one thing I would love, Frankie, and to what you were saying about this offensive line and the run game, and they can run the ball better, why not bring Olu Fashanu as a sixth offensive lineman? Olu Fashanu. You bring him in as like a tight end kind of blocking. Why not? I understand you're telling the defense, hey, we're going to run the ball. If I'm putting Braylon Allen and Breece Hall out there, and my personnel is I got 6 offensive linemen with Ruckert out there blocking, I feel like I could do some pretty good damage in that run game with them, man.
Yeah, I think you have a point there. I think that'll work better with Braylon Allen, arguably, than Breece. Right. As we've been saying about Breece, sometimes up the middle, he kind of likes to kick things out. Although today he had some nicer runs than he did last week. But yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. The only thing we're bringing in a 6th offensive lineman, because I heard somebody say this earlier too before the game. The thing is, when you bring in a 6th offensive lineman, you're kind of telling the defense you're going to run the ball. They start stacking it up in the box, and then if you don't run the ball, you really don't have much going on the outside. And I don't know if we bring in Olu, I feel like they're going to really stack the box and makes things more difficult. But try it, yeah. I don't see why not. I would love to.
What do you have to lose
this year? I'm totally on the play Olu this year. If John Simpson or Morgan Moses or whomever is not able to develop, or they're not getting better, or they're becoming a liability on the O-line, I am totally okay with bringing in Olu. And I'm even good with playing him at guard. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but if you look at Laramie Tunsil, when he was young, he played guard. And Olu reminds me a lot of Laramie Tunsil, a lot in how they play and everything. So, I mean, yeah. If they feel like that gives them an advantage, bring him in, or I want to see him play, though, definitely, in some way, shape, or form.
Frankie, the Bills were putting their 6th offensive lineman out there for blocking, and they were running the hell out of the ball. James Cook.
Yes.
I mean, you could do it. You can do it with Olu Fashanu. Put him out there, scheme it up, tell the team, we're going to bully ball you, and we're going to run the ball down your throat. And that's the way you win football games, ultimately, as long as you can run the ball, which they were able to break out some big plays. That was the touchdown drive, and the Jets take the 24-17 lead, and now the Titans get the ball back with 4:31. Now it's time for the defense to actually make a stop here. I told you, Frankie, how I felt. I thought the Titans were able to move the ball up and down the field at will against this Jets team. They did drive the ball down the field. It took some nice plays at the end, but the defense, to their credit, got a couple sacks and were able to get the final stop. What did you think, man, in that situation?
Man, I thought the defense was flying around in the second half. I was saying it earlier. I just think they were not missing a beat. Our linebackers, even our DNs, were getting out there in space and making some plays. So I was really happy to see that. That's like the Jets defense that we know and loved the last couple of years. The thing, too, about this defense, not to bring up another point from what you just asked, but the last 2 years we were ranked the first defense on PFF. It's hard to do that every year. So I don't know if our defense this year is going to be as good as it was last year or the year before that.
I don't think
so. With that being said, going to our, thinking about the offense, if our defense isn't stacking up to where it was, what does our offense need to do to win us football games? And I'm starting to feel like that they're making Aaron Rodgers a little bit into a game manager, which I don't want to see this year.
You felt like that?
I feel like he is a little bit. I mean, listen, right. I'm saying game manager in the sense of it's not that he can't make amazing throws that game managers typically don't, but the volume and where he's going with the ball and when it feels like it's like on, third and longs, it's up to him to get the first down, or the play to Mike Williams at the end. It's on him.
He's a superstar quarterback. He should get those first downs.
Yeah, but I want to see us spread it out more. We're playing the offense to me is looking like let's get to 24, which is literally what we scored today, and we'll hold them to 17-20 and we'll win. I don't want our offense to run like that. I want our offense to score 32 to 35 points, and then our defense is going to tail off a bit. But I think that's got to be more of the strategy than this, slow-paced offense, which is what I'm calling it. We have the talent now where if we do play that way, Brees could pop one off, Garrett could pop one off, Braylon Allen could pop one off. So it's not the worst strategy in the world, but I don't want to put any weights on Aaron Rodgers. I want Aaron to come out and sling it. I want him to throw for 300 yards again. And it's been a while since he's done that. I think it's 23 games. He hasn't thrown for 300 yards, which is an insane stat. Let's get Aaron his funk back. Let's get him juiced up a little bit, back to why he loved playing football. I'm not saying he's a game manager, and I'm not saying that is what the Jets are thinking necessarily, but it looks like that. And I don't like it. I really don't.
I kind of disagree. I don't think that's what they're going for. I think what they're going for is we're not going to be super aggressive with Aaron and try and do everything with him and try to build him back up to Aaron Rodgers here. And I think we're seeing that. I think we're seeing Aaron get confidence back. He's getting his swag back. He's getting his rhythm back. I thought he finished the game in Aaron Rodgers classic fashion, drove him down the field. It was a great touchdown drive. He made the throws that needed to be thrown to Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams, to Breece Hall, getting us into plays like Braylon Allen for the touchdown. And that to me is how you win football games. And that is what we're going to continue to see. And the offensive line is going to continue to gel. I think the offense is going to get better. It's the defense. Again, I cannot stress this enough. The defense has me concerned tremendously, and they have to be able to get after the quarterback consistently. And I don't see it happening. And they have to be able to stop the run. They get another 130 yards to the Titans on the ground today. For me, I'm not so worried about Aaron Rodgers. I don't think it's going to be, it's not going to be Patrick Mahomes type offense. I know that's kind of what you're pleading here for a little bit. It's not going to be a spread you out.
I just want to see it, man. It's been so damn long. I mean, I'm being selfish.
You're being selfish. I mean, Frankie, we got some pretty damn good throws today from Aaron Rodgers to Breece Hall for the touchdown, to Garrett Wilson on the third down, and to Mike Williams.
I just want to see I want to see an air raid. I want to see something like that. It's been so damn long, dude. I'm being a selfish fan. Maybe that's not the best idea, but I'm just saying.
We just got the win today. We've got our first win this year.
Yeah. But come on. This is stupid Frankie fan. All right. This is me being an idiot. I'm looking at the stats, 176 yards. Come on, man. Give me 270. Give me 310. I want to see that.
You want the explosives. You want the explosive plays.
I just think we can do it. I think it's gonna take him some time.
Let Mike Williams get healthy.
All right, fair enough. I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
Voice of reason usually.
I'm trying to be with you, man. Listen, Mike Williams, if he can recover from this ACL, why not throw 80-yard bombs down the field to him? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He's an upgrade over Allen Lazard, that's for sure. Rodgers just missed Lazard on that play again, too, huh? On third down.
He did. I don't know who that was on. It might have been Lazard, almost short-armed it a little bit.
Yeah, he overthrew him, I think, just 50, a little bit.
Yeah. But on to just going back to the defense. I mean, Sauce had a rough game today, and I just put this one. I pack this one in the box, put it on top, and I never see it again. That's what I would do. I mean, as a fan, I love Sauce. I think I tell people all the time, I think he's the most important player on our defense. They don't look like that today, though, but I think he is. Had a bad game. Happens.
Gave up the touchdown to Calvin Ridley. Definitely did not know that ball was coming.
No, I had no idea. I mean, it's funny. He had no idea that ball was coming, and Chuck Clark saw that ball 5 seconds before it got thrown. Chuck's trying to go. Like, listen, first of all, when he caught that Ridley, I swear, I text you. I thought Chuck Clark got the interception. I didn't know if he got his feet down. I didn't know if he got in. But I'm like, oh, we got the pick maybe. Or
Sauce did touch him, I think,
Ridley
too.
Just rolls up with the ball. I'm like, how did that end up there? Did you see that ball go into his lap? I didn't see it.
It was a great throw. Honestly, it was a great throw by Will Levis.
It was a really nice throw.
He put it towards the inside. Sauce was not even looking. I think he thought he was just running with Ridley, and then Ridley dove, and he's like, ooh, okay, the ball just came out of nowhere.
I thought our defense stopped the run today, by the way, Rye.
130 yards? I don't know, man. The first half, the second half, they shut him down. Second half, they shut him down. I will agree.
Yeah, second half, they shut him down. First half, they let off a few. But trust me, team has 28 carries, comes into the game knowing what they know from the San Francisco game last week. They come in, they try to run the ball, and they had 130 yards on the ground. Granted, again, Levis had 38 of those yards.
Yes.
So you have to put that into consideration. If you just take the running back yards.
Good point.
It wasn't what we thought. I mean,
it's sub 100 yards then. You're right. It's sub 100 yards then.
3.6 yards a carry. And Spears, who got hurt, had 3.3 yards a carry. So trust me, the defense today did a decent job. I don't want to say good because I think they could have done better. And if the quarterback's running, that kind of counts too. But they looked better today stopping the run for sure.
Good point, Frankie. Good point. Finally, before we wrap all this up and close this post-game live show out, we just want to thank again the fans, all of you guys watching on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching. We appreciate you as always. We're going to be doing this every single week for every Jets game. Frankie and myself breaking down every Jets game, reacting just like you guys are, talking about the game, what stood out to us, what made us happy, and what concerned us. Frankie, we do have a short week here. We got a Thursday night game coming up against the Patriots. This is the third game in 11 days. The Jets are very banged up right now, considering they lost Jermaine Johnson, most likely for the year. They lost C.J. Mosley in the first half of this game. DJ Reed was inactive. Do we think we see Mosley and Reed play Thursday night against the Patriots team, or are the Jets going to be like, I hate to say this, punting on this game in a sort of sense and saying, oh, we can get by with the talent we have right now?
Listen, man, I wouldn't do that against New England. I mean, they lost today in overtime. They almost had that game. They're going to come in and try to slap us in the face. I mean, that's really punches in the mouth. I mean, they don't mess around, especially it seems like that team with Mayo. They're a tough bunch. We should beat them again, even if we don't come in with the proper game plan or the guys aren't ready to go. We're just so much superior in terms of talent than they are. So I think we're going to win. But I don't think CJ plays, and I don't think you need him to play because Sherwood looked as good as he did today. And yeah, I agree with Armand. I think Reed does play, so I think Reed will come back and play. And I think I think CJ sits out, and I unfortunately think we'll hear some bad news with Hassan. But with that said,
bad news on Hassan.
Oh,
you mean Jermaine?
Sorry, I meant bad news with Jermaine. Yes, and I do think bad news on Hassan. I don't think Hassan's going to be here for a while. So yes, I think we're going to get bad. Yes, I think we'll get bad news on Hassan too. Yeah, I think it's bad news with Jermaine, and Hassan's not coming to save the day. I don't think. You want him in, right? They're gonna call CAA tomorrow morning. We're very sorry what happened to Jermaine Johnson. It's very unfortunate. We'll send you chocolates and flowers and a jersey, a signed helmet, whatever. But you got that check for us? We want $72 million. Make it $75 million for 3 years. He'll be in. He'll catch the first flight out of wherever he is in Philly, or he'll drive up. That's what's going to happen.
I hope not, man. That's going to be brutal.
Oh,
they got to get him in the building. You got to get him in the building.
They love this Jermaine thing. Unfortunately, I hate saying it.
No. They're not rooting for injury. No.
No, not rooting for injury. But I'm saying for their client. Yeah, they don't love this. Sorry, I don't mean like that. But like for their negotiation, they're going to want to do whatever they can to get their client paid. Ruthless, man. Hassan should be here. He should have been here.
Get him in the building. Get him in the building. Joe Douglas, please Please, 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 please. Frankie, anything else from this Jets-Titans game that stood out before we close out, man?
You know what, man? We got the W, so we could throw it up. Got the W, baby. That's it. Rye, a W is a W is a W. So don't look too much at the bad with this game, I would say, because there's a lot to find if you want to. They didn't look that good. But we got the W, and this team, like we've been saying, just needs to start to gel, and they're still not even close to getting there yet. So they'll get there, though. They'll get there.
Thursday night football, Patriots, Jets, home opener. Fans are going to be going insane now that we come off a dub here. Looking forward to seeing Rodgers, how he comes out of the tunnel, MetLife, the return. I'm sure a lot of Jets fans are going to be paying attention to that.
All right, is Rodgers going to do anything unique out of the tunnel?
Oh, he'll have the flag. He'll have the flag. Absolutely.
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
You want to put a bet on that?
You don't think he will?
No, I don't think they'll do that. That's like bad karma. I think he's
maybe
way
a Jets
too
flag. Maybe a Jets flag.
Maybe another flag. I don't know if the American flag is going to do this time. I don't know. He'd have to be crazy to do that again. Maybe he will.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is crazy. Let's be real. I love the guy. I love the man. He's crazy though.
I do.
All right, Jets win. Jets fans, we appreciate you as always watching Gangs All Year post game. Jets come up with a massive win, 24-17. Even the record 1-1. Patriots Thursday night home opener. We appreciate you guys watching. Frankie and I will be breaking down that one as well. And as always, thank you for watching Gangs All Here. Frankie, thank you, brother.
And we're 1-1, baby.
We're 1-1.
Let's go.
We're 1-1. On to the next week. Thank you, Jets fans.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks to the post. You guys are always the best. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. As always, we'll catch you next time.